Remember at the beginning of the course when I mentioned something called an asset? Well, it is an important term when creating a security strategy. Now, asset is not always the same thing, so we can't define what it is as it depends from company to company. However, we can define it broadly as an asset being most valuable thing that company or a person has. Of course, there can be multiple assets and each of them can have their own value, but it's important that before even developing a security strategy, you talk to the person hiring you or you talk to the company that you are developing the strategy for and discuss what are their most important assets. This is important because if the strategy is really good, what's the point if it's protecting the wrong things, right? Now, as we mentioned, assets can be literally anything. It can be files that the company has. It can also be perhaps the main servers of the company that are required for it to run. Sometimes an asset can be physical assets such as hard drives that have a backup. Remember, security isn't always implemented just online. You can just as easily have someone physically walk into the office or break into the office and steal device or hard disk or just look through them and put them back. And in some cases, asset can be personal information, whether it being for one person or for all the users that are registered on a specific service or website. That is also an important asset for companies. We already discussed that a company can lose its reputation if its users' private information gets stolen or leaked. These are one of the most usual assets to protect and to focus on, but as I said, it can be anything and it's important to always communicate about this with the person that you are developing the strategy for. Usually, when protecting assets, we want to ensure those are our strongest points in security, and we can develop something called layered security around it. This means we have multiple security measures covering it, so in case one gets broken into, there are still more things protecting it. Most basic example of a layered security that you all most likely have encountered and used is two-factor authentication. For example, if your password gets leaked and hackers get it, you still have your code arriving at your mobile phone or email, which is still needed to log into your account. In this case, an attacker not only needs to know your password, but he must also know the code for two-factor authentication. Anyways, now that we know what asset means, let's move on to the next lecture.